Everybody knows Portland is weird. What people don't know is that Portland is a thriving business community with some of the most creative and visionary entrepreneurs in the country. But if you want to find them, you've got to go beyond the weird and look into the heart of our big small town. Join Matt Schweitzer, Vice President of North Rim Commercial Properties, each week as he visits the places and interviews the people that make Portland a city that works.
We are going to Russell Street BBQ. We're going to meet Sharon Santucci. She is the owner, one of the owners of Russell Street. And we're going to get the lowdown on the ins and outs of how you make fantastic barbecue. So I'm pretty excited about that because anybody that knows me knows I flat out like food. Hey everybody, I'm Matt Schweitzer, VP with North Rim Commercial Properties. We're here today on the corner of MLK and Northeast Russell, and we're super excited because we're about to take a tour of Russell Street BBQ.
I'm Sharon Santucci. I have had Russell Street BBQ since 2004. We've been fortunate to work with North Rim. We make the city's best barbecue. We are smoking every day. We source the best quality ingredients we can. We make everything with love and from scratch. A lot of the same ways that I was taught in my grandma's kitchen how to cook. We're doing it here day in and day out.
So what do we need to see first?
Well, we got to start at the smoker.
Let's do it.
Okay. So we use a Lang 84-inch smoker. It came all the way from Georgia.
Okay.
We've used it now for about 10 years. This is our beauty.
Wow.
We burn local white oak woods. We butcher our briskets down into lean and moist. Most barbecue places don't do that, but we like to offer our customers the choice of the fattier brisket and the lean. And we find that we can really control the cooking of them because these tend to cook faster. So what goes with great barbecue is phenomenal beer. We're so lucky here in Portland to have an array of so much local, small, hard-to-find beers. We feature 8 taps. We always have an IPA, an Imperial IPA, a red, a pale. We have a dedicated tap for our cider. Perfect cold brew to wash down our amazing barbecue. One of the things we love about this space is our amazing dining room, Matt.
Yeah.
We can accommodate large parties. We have birthday parties up to 18 people at a time. We have 2 different dining rooms, so we can have a real festive space and more quiet space.
We're gonna have some brisket. That's what's going on right now, okay? And I'm pretty excited about it. Baby. Unbelievable. Perfect every single time. Hi, I'm Matt Schweitzer and welcome to Portland Business Today, a web and podcast dedicated exclusively to showcasing successful local business owners right here in the Portland metro area. The show is produced at the studio at North Rim and sponsored by my company, North Rim Commercial Properties. Now, if you like food, and I do, and if you're particularly like the kind of food that is smoked and smothered in barbecue sauce, and I definitely do, then you're going to love my guests today. They are Sharon Santucci and Diane Santucci, who own and operate Russell Street BBQ, a southern kitchen serving up some of the best barbecue pork and brisket you'll have anywhere, much less in Portland. They have been successfully operating Russell Street BBQ in Portland for 16 years, and for about just as long have been engaged in one of the most simmering feuds over which meat is the most authentic barbecue standard, brisket or pork. I have my own feelings on the subject, but it's my job to be impartial today, so I'll let them make their own case. They are a true Portland success story, and we're going to hear all about it. Sharon and Diane, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks so much for having us.
Ladies, I'm glad you're here. This is one of my favorite subjects. We got food and barbecue in particular to talk about. But before we get into debate, okay, because I know that's going to be a little bit of a heated part of our show here today. We're not going to go over that just yet. I want to start with how it all began. How did Russell Street come to its beginnings? How did it start?
Well, it's a long story. It started when Diane and I decided to move to Portland.
back in 1998. We were in upstate New York running a restaurant and catering company. And we honestly, to be quite frank, we're having a hard time with our business. Quite frankly, we were being thought of as a gay business. And the fact that Diane and I were a couple was really what our restaurant was all about. And the town we were in was really small. It was Woodstock, New York. And we decided that we were facing so much homophobia that the East Coast wasn't for us.
This is a very difficult business, no matter where you are.
Yeah.
So it just wasn't going well for any of us.
Yeah.
And, you know, combined with the social aspects of such a small town.
Were you surprised to find it as conservative as it was?
Absolutely.
I'm assuming, or did that just come out after the business got started?
Well, it's an interesting area. It has been an artist community for 100 years or more. It is a special area, but the people who live there and the people who maybe are the customers there are two completely different worlds. So you get people from the city who come up in their quite expensive homes, and it is really a destination, almost a resort area in a way.
Okay.
So it wasn't quite what you expect. Lots of old hippies, but lots of big money, and the disparity between the two was a little bit much for us to come to terms with.
Yeah, sounds like it might have been hard to find the right path to success with that, the way the community was coming together or not coming together.
We
most
were
likely.
very successful, in all honesty. Sharon had booked $250,000 worth of catering
Yeah.
in the first 6 months of us being
Wow.
open,
Yeah.
but it just wasn't a good fit. I
Okay.
guess is where it comes from.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then I loved Portland. I moved here in 81 and lived here from 81 to 92. 3 years here, 3 years there. And then it was, let's go back to Portland.
Got it.
It is a home
Yeah,
base.
a place to work from.
I had left Texas in the early 90s.
And you both have Texas roots. Is
No.
that no? Okay. All right.
I'm the purebred
Oh,
Texan.
okay. Wow. Boy, I stepped over that one. Okay. All right. Let's go. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on.
That's where the whole debate begins.
Okay. I think I
I'm
might
a
have.
Texan.
I might have led into that. All right. We're
Okay.
getting there. We're going to get there. Okay.
But I had left Texas in the early 90s, again, because of this whole social issue, because
Yeah.
the homophobia was making me not feel comfortable in my community.
Yeah.
And I'd moved to Seattle because I was seeking a place that was more liberal and open to all people.
Sure, sure.
And Seattle was so amazing for us because I felt really accepted by my community. And the experience in upstate New York was so hard because of that, because I had felt what it felt like to be welcomed for who you are,
Yeah.
and then to be reminded how horrible it feels to not be welcomed for who you are.
Do you think the rest of the country has caught up a little bit, or do you think we're still sort of got a long ways to go in that regards to that?
I think any place there's going to be enclaves of dislike straight down to pure hatred.
Yeah, sure.
And it's unfortunate, but it's true. I grew up in the D.C. area.
Yeah.
So, you know, in the late 70s, early 80s, very early 80s, I was involved in gay rights and gay pride and things like that. And then I moved to Olympia, Washington, which was way too small for me. And in Portland, I found a more accepting, even in 1981, 82,
Yeah.
a much more accepting, open, less judgmental area.
One of the things I love personally, I could talk forever about how much I love that aspect of our city too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's
Agreed.
fantastic. All right, so we got Texas roots, got some East Coast roots. Barbecue, ladies, come on. What's the roots of that? How did we
Well-
come together on that?
Well, as a Texan, obviously the barbecue's in my blood.
All right,
There's no
all
way
right.
around it. I made a pit smoker when I was in high school. So,
Is that just standard fare down in Texas? You just, okay, I got it.
It's life.
I kind of love that about Texas, okay? I'm not going to lie. That's awesome.
Right.
Okay, all right.
And then Diane, her
Well,
experience with barbecue.
My deal is I grew up in Bethesda, Maryland, but we had a house in Virginia Beach, and it was a 4-hour drive. And my mom, I'm one of 8 kids. I've cooked bulk my entire life.
Okay.
My mom exposed us to a lot of great things, but she liked the simple things as well. And we would go off the main highway to hit pit barbecue along the way.
Okay.
Now, in Virginia, pit barbecue means pork.
Okay.
There was no beef.
Yeah.
I didn't cook a brisket until the week before we opened. Thank goodness I've gotten much better.
Okay.
Much,
Very
much
nice.
better
Very
at it.
nice. Very
But
nice.
pork was king. I mean, it's where the roots of American barbecue really come from, because the slaves were given kind of the not nice parts, and they needed to be cooked long and slow.
Yeah.
And that's where the origins of American barbecue really come from.
Every time I bring up barbecue to anybody that I know, it seems like everybody's pretty opinionated. So you're in an industry with very strong opinions, and I'm sure they share those opinions every time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's got to be a little hard to take in, I would imagine, sometimes. You know, you're putting your heart and soul into what you're preparing, and people are, I don't know, how do you take opinions? I mean, how do you see opinions?
You know, I'm giving opinions every single day.
Okay.
Every
okay.
single day. I had someone stop me just the other day on the street and tell me, hey, you know what? You should light your storefront up better.
Okay, okay.
I see that people are sharing their opinions because they care.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's
they
a good
have
way
a
to see it.
vested interest, and they want to see us succeed.
Yeah, yeah.
And as a chef, it's hard because I do everything from my heart.
Yeah.
You know, or it has my personal history in it. And of course, your personal history is going to not match my personal history.
Yeah, yeah.
So when somebody says, well, it's not like my mom's potato salad, I say, of course not. It's like my mom's potato salad.
You know, I feel like as restaurant, owners, when you're putting that food out there and you're doing it in such a personal way, you're sharing a bit of yourselves with the community,
Exactly.
right? And I don't know that everybody necessarily sees that or
Right.
understands that,
Right.
to the degree that, I don't know. I mean, I think some people do, but most probably don't. Let's talk about that a little bit. What are some of the biggest challenges of running a small business? What keeps you awake at night a little bit?
Well, I think some of the biggest challenges are keeping up with change.
Okay.
Excuse me. You have to keep evolving and keep growing and keep trying to improve.
Okay.
We've been doing this for 15 years, and we have to keep ourselves excited.
How do you do that?
I keep my heart involved.
Okay.
I see my business as an extension of my family.
Okay.
I call it a professional family, is what I call our business.
Yeah.
So I think that I see it. Diane and I didn't have children. This is our child.
Okay.
Okay. So just like I would assume parents never stop wanting to help develop their children in our business. We never want to stop helping it be the best it can be.
Yeah.
And the challenges that have come along, there are a lot more barbecue places around now. We're one of the longest running barbecue restaurants in Portland.
Yeah.
Brick and mortar.
Okay.
The difference between running a cart and a brick and mortar is they are just not even in the same world.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have 38 employees that work for us that are depending on us for their livelihoods.
Yeah.
And we take that responsibility incredibly seriously.
Yeah.
We try to create our own work utopia, is what
Yeah.
it's called. That's what I call it, a place where we all just try to do our best work. We come, we share who we are, we're authentic, we're real, we try to do our best work day in and day out. And each person that works with us matters to us
Yeah.
very much. Labor's become really hard in the last couple of years. I think everybody knows that we're in a labor shortage, AKA the best unemployment rate you could ever ask
Yep.
for.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
the flip side of it is that it's really hard to find great talent now. So those are challenges that we're dealing with in the city. The city's been growing so quickly also the last 5 years. It's been a real challenge to keep up with the changes
Yeah.
as they happen. I think something that
Diane and I really didn't even understand is the whole social media aspect of the world.
Yeah.
You know, we're kind of antiques in the social media world.
It's funny how quickly that happens, right? How
It
quickly.
happened very quickly.
Yeah.
And it happened very quickly, and we were just like, whoa, what happened? The city has changed. You know, I think I said recently to somebody when we opened Russell Street BBQ, the way we recruited our staff is we put an ad in the Oregonian.
Yeah.
And, I
Yeah,
mean,
that's that. What ad? What?
15
Yeah,
years,
yeah.
the whole way we run our business has changed.
Yeah, yeah.
It has, and we've had to evolve with it.
Yeah.
Another challenge, you had asked about challenges
Yeah.
facing us right now. In my 45 years, this industry has changed exponentially in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So one is wages. So Portland has instituted this minimum wage, and I'm not certain that it's affecting people in the way that people who pushed it have expected it.
Not the end result they were hoping for.
I really firmly
Okay.
believe that.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
unfortunate. The
We've had
other
to make
thing,
tough decisions because of it. We've had to eliminate positions. We've eliminated a whole management position
Which is
that
not,
existed.
which is fallout that folks that maybe were looking for that weren't
Right.
hoping would not happen.
yeah, I
Right.
don't think that anybody expected that you'd have to cut hours and such. The other thing is the rising costs of quality goods.
Okay.
Now, we believe in the very highest quality, and rather than buy cheap meat, which is just not good for the world in any way, shape, or form. It's not good for the environment. It's not good for humans to consume. Rather than go that route and drop our quality, unfortunately, it means price increases
Yeah, yeah.
on the regular.
Yeah.
And when people say, "Oh, it's so much more than it used to be," it's like, you're right.
Yeah.
It is. Go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Buy yourself a roast.
Yeah.
See what that costs you now. See what it cost you 16 years ago. Of course, the prices.
Yeah.
It's true. I
Yeah.
read this a lot on blogs, and I read a lot. People say, you know, well, businesses should just pay what a living wage is. And I agree with that completely.
Sure.
Businesses should pay what a living wage is. But the challenge is changing everything in such a rapid fashion. You know, we're in an industry that has been set up long before we came along. Wages were what they were. The front of the house made what they made, and the back of the house made what they made, and the front of the house was based on tipping. We're in a time now where that's kind of all turning tipsy-turvy, where
Yeah.
you know, some people are doing away with tipping altogether, and there's a lot of different new approaches to it. So I think that our industry is being forced to change very quickly right now due
Yeah.
to this change. Do I think it's good? Absolutely. I think it's great in the long run. But is it a bumpy ride? Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
bumpy ride.
Yeah.
And I really see, because people don't really understand how restaurants run, that they think we should just be able to absorb every cost. Well, our taxes are going to go up again. The business taxes in Portland are going to go up.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure where that's going to come from.
You bring up an interesting point. I mean, it seems to me that it's really that control of the overhead, right? It's trying to make sure that that stays within line with what any restaurant would have to be, you
Right,
know, to have.
exactly. And if the thing is that our controllable costs in our industry, there are two controllable costs, food and labor.
Yeah.
And labor is no longer controllable for us.
At this point,
At this
yeah,
point.
yeah, got it.
And that's what's driving cost at this point. And I don't think the consumer quite has put that together. We feel good about our price. We
Yeah.
know we are delivering our food at an incredibly fair price.
You know, I could give you case in point. I think it's a relative thing too. Pricing is so relative to value, and that I know, like I've had friends come from out of state come and visit. And I can remember one particular time a friend of mine from New York came and went out to dinner at one of our local restaurants. Sorry, it wasn't Russell Street, but it was another local restaurant. Had an amazing meal and and I picked him up. He had a business meeting. I picked him up and he goes, that was some of the best food I've ever had. And he goes, I paid a quarter of what I would have paid in New York for that
Right.
value.
Right.
And so I think sometimes we've been spoiled in
Yes.
town. I mean, I know that might be a little hard to swallow, pun intended, I guess, but like the idea being that it's relative to the growth of the city too, and people have to understand that as the city grows, that comes with the territory.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
We just
Yeah.
read an article the other day that Portland's now the 25th largest city in America, and it's like, that's a big jump we
Yeah,
made.
yeah, yeah.
In the last 5
Yeah, and for
years.
those of us that can go back a couple of decades, we
Yeah.
can literally now talk about changes that are exponential, right?
That's true, right?
Yeah. All right. So challenges, they're always going to be there. Welcome
Always
to
something.
welcome to owning a business.
Yes.
Exactly.
Come on, successes, ladies. Come on.
Success.
What do you just go when you think back over the last 16 right now and go, yeah, that was good. I like that. That was a good thing.
I'm proud that we brought a new age of barbecue to Portland.
Yeah.
We were the first to offer a vegetarian option in a barbecue. A lot of people think that's anathema, but I've fed people in Portland for a very long time.
Yeah.
There's tofu. Even if you're vegan, you can come eat at Russell Street, and you always could.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
a lot of people jump on a bandwagon. We created the bandwagon.
That's awesome.
I just came from spending a year in our kitchen. I've spent a year in the kitchen just really reevaluating every single product we produce.
Yeah.
I'm proud that we're working on our 15th year and our food is better than it's ever been.
That's
I
awesome.
agree.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And it shows in the way that you both talk about the business, the way that you both talk about the food. It's obvious that you care. 16 years ago, you had a vision, you have a dream, right? You have a concept. I get to deal with a lot of small businesses and a lot of startups, and I find that there's one hand is excited as hell, and the other is scared as hell. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I meet people that actually have both almost in equal measure, that's usually when I can tell I've got somebody that's got a very, very good chance of success. Because without there's a yin and a yang to it. And
Yes.
you got to be passionate about what you're putting out, right? Because if you didn't, you wouldn't do it in the first place. And I think that sort of dogs nipping at your heels kind of thing is sort of, there's a little bit of the drive there, right? It's that little
Absolutely.
bit of what keeps you motivated. But I will
Yes.
say, when I hear you say, you said 38 on staff, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I think it's important to step back and go, wow, we're helping how many families?
Lots of families.
Yeah.
We've had 3 marriages.
Okay, nice.
So many children.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
recently went through a really hard phase where we lost a large group of our employees who'd been with us for like 10 years.
Yeah.
And it just naturally happened with the city changing and
Sure.
people finally move on. And,
Sure.
but most of those people, we're so proud of them. They went on to buy homes like in Cascade Locks and in Gresham, and they just moved a little further outside of the city.
Got it.
Or got their masters and are now social workers. And I'm just really proud to say that we helped other people make their dreams come true as well.
It's awesome. You should be very, very proud of that. Well, I'm not so sure we're going to get the whole brisket pork debate even remotely settled, and I'm not even sure I really want to dive into that because I don't do any counseling of any sort. Okay, you know what I mean? I might have a psychology degree, but that's about as far as it gets. Yeah, that's about
Well,
as far.
just to set the
yeah.
record straight, it is all about the brisket.
Yeah. And so you're located right on there on the corner, Russell and MOK,
Right,
right? So
325 Northeast Russell Street.
okay, so we're pretty close into town. Open what time? What are hours now? What are
Every
we doing?
day, 7
Okay.
days a week, from
Okay.
11 to 9, Sunday through Thursday, and then we stay open till 10 on Fridays.
You currently also do catering,
We do
correct?
catering
Okay.
out of-
Someone wants to contact you about, anything, all things related to Russell Street Barbecue. They can check out your website, correct?
our
okay.
website.
What's your address on the website?
RussellStreetBBQ.com. That's
Okay.
all spelled out. Russell Street, STREET, BBQ.com.
Okay.
Or you can also email Diane or I directly, Diane at RussellStreetBBQ.com or Sharon at RussellStreetBBQ.com.
I really want to thank you very much for sharing your story,
Thank you,
sharing some
Matt.
insights. I feel like it's just an amazing story, and I'm glad that we're able to, that you're willing to share it and be a part of this today. Thank you.